Yes, my name is Professor Henry Buisa, a professor of entrepreneurship for 30 plus years at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology in Kenya. My website www.mukmik.co.ke. My university email is hbuisa@jku.ac.ke, and I have my own personal email at buihem@gmail.com. So that's how and where we can interact. Now, I want to present my excerpts from Professor Magoha, who is the Cabinet Secretary of Education in Kenya, from his speech at the University of Nairobi's 23rd graduation ceremony this year, 2020. I want to present actually what I learned from the speech of the Cabinet Secretary for Education at 23rd University of Nairobi graduation, which was virtual due to the corona pandemic. So the corona came, disturbed us, but it also enables us to innovate. So now universities are going digital. Now, as I was listening to the speech of Professor Magoha, a lot of things were going through my mind, like that Arabic proverb, arrogance over the arrogant is modesty. Or David Michel, false modesty can be worse than arrogance. I was wondering then, can arrogance and modesty be bedfellows? Well, these are things that were going through my mind. I then was reminded about this concept of the Johari Window, which I love using teaching my entrepreneurship classes. It is a technique that helps people better understand their relationship with themselves and others. So an entrepreneur, a business person, you cannot afford not to have the Johari Window. There it is. The Johari Window has 4 pens. There is this known to yourself. I know myself very well, but known to others also, and others also know me very well. This is what you call the open self. This, you have the information about you that both you and others know. This pen makes go places. It's the best part of us. When we know ourselves very well and we have allowed other people also to know us very well, we mix well, we interact well, and we go on. But there is this pen here which we are calling hidden self. You are known to yourself, but unknown to others. The information about you that you know, but others don't know. You are hidden it from others. Well, very characteristic of politicians. They know what they're going to do next, but you don't know. They strike when they want to strike. Then there is this blind self. You don't know yourself, unknown to you, but other people know you. Information about you that you don't know, but others do know. Sometimes you behave unknowingly. You think you're pleasing people, but you are annoying them. You think you are amusing people, but you are, there are habits that we do that may not be unknown to us. People look at it and interpret it differently from what we thought we were doing. And then there's this unknown self. Information about you that neither you nor the others know. Yes, we discover ourselves deep in our lives. Life is continuous. Every day we learn something. So there's that unknown part of us. So I thought, as I was listening to Professor Magoha, I thought there is a blind self. This part that probably Professor Magoha does not know about it himself, but we who listen to him, we who interact with him, may know or may interpret what he says and does the way we understand it, maybe not the way he meant it. So I thought there were some blind self-spots in Professor Magoha's speech that I learned and that I can use probably to further my teaching. Yes, I come from Western Kenya. Western Kenya, the Mlembe nation, the Luya nation, and the Bukusu sub-tribe in that Luya tribe. And the Bukusu would describe a controversial person as Alimo Kamake Nechiswa. It means one is both bad and good, both sweet and bitter. Kamake are the biting ants that escort the flying termites, which are eatable by the Bukusus as they come out of the holes. Which means when those ants come out of the hole, they are escorted by those ants, and as we go to eat them, we are prepared to be bitten even by those ants. So both sweet and sour. Watch them. You can see they are coming out flying, but the soldiers, the ants, are around, like guarding them. So this is what the Bukus say, Kamakene Chiswa, sweet and sour. So, listening to Professor Magoha's speech at the 63rd University of Nairobi virtual graduation, I saw this Chiswa and the Kamake in it. I saw the sweet and the sour, the arrogant and the modesty. For example, when he was invited by the university vice chancellor to give his speech, Professor Magoha went ahead to do his own podium spraying and ordered the organizers to repeat the cleaning of the podium, despite the fact that they have done it, and they had done it. So I wondered, was it out of mistrust for the in-churches, or was it thoroughness, because he's a thorough man, or was it just double-checking? Well, I remember that one time Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. So let's watch it.
It is now my great pleasure to invite Professor Johari Magoha, who is a
Professor Kiama inviting Professor Magoha. Watch, he has got his own spray in his hand. Right hand will always, he starts spraying it even after, and now they come to clean, and they actually loudly tell them, clean it again. If you didn't hear it, because I was talking, say, clean it again. There it is. Maybe he's doing it for the good, but the interpretation might be varying. But Magoha stands for excellence. Professor Magoha believed that only excellent faculties make excellent universities. This excellence comes from motivated staff, in my opinion. Strikes by the motivated staff will never make our universities excellent. And the strikes are partially a result of poor tripartite communication. On the one part, university management. On the second, staff, including academic staff. And on the third, Ministry of Education. Not mentioning poor staff remuneration. Well, it is said that identifying a problem, he's halfway solving it. Let's listen to Professor Magoha.
I would want to state without any fear of contradiction that we have to ask ourselves what makes the University of Nairobi the gold standard in East Africa? What makes the university the gold standard? And I think the answer is known to all of you. It is the faculty. The faculty in the first place has to be excellent.
Faculty.
So whoever is running the university and now
academic staff.
Even come and die. You must fall in love yesterday with your academic staff.
Yes.
Otherwise, there is nothing you are going to do that will go anywhere. You are a professor, and you know how they think.
There it is. Professor Magoha advises Professor Kiama that the University of Nairobi, and by extension all other universities, are not going to be excellent if they have not fallen in love, if the University of Management has not fallen in love with the academic staff, and indeed I will add other staff also. So there is standing for excellence. Professor Magoha believes rules are not cast in stone. The good professor rightly says rules are made by man and should remade by man himself. Let's listen to him. Of course, there is rules are made for people, I read somewhere, rules are made for people who aren't willing to make up their own. That was Jack Ying. And then, of course, nothing is cast in stone. So let's listen to Magoha.
Which are made by man. Those rules can be changed if your strategy is to ensure that University of Nairobi has to be the gold standard in East Africa. It didn't happen automatically. And I thank you for recognizing that. I did maybe 5% earlier.
Indeed, Professor Magoha is saying rules, university rules were made by man. We may want to look at them again and change if we want to be excellent. I'm hoping that Professor Magoha means what he says. So, by extension, when I extend Professor Magoha's preaching, so to speak, he never tired stressing the good cohabitation of academic staff and university management. And I want to add his own ministry too. So I have the university management there, I have the faculty, and particularly academic staff, and I have the ministry. When the university management and the ministry work together outside, minus the faculty, the vast management working together, communicating, minus staff, very poor. Excellence is not up. That would be extremely poor. But when the ministry works with faculty and leaves the vast out, well, it becomes fair. At least faculty is in there. When the university management works with the faculty, even if the ministry is not in, it becomes good. The internal relation between the university and the faculty. But excellence comes when all three are working together. And therefore, as Professor Magoha talks about university management falling in love with the faculty, I want to add that even the ministry must fall in love like last year. Him he talks of yesterday, I say last year. And excellency, university excellence will only come when these three people are working, talking same language, preaching from the same podium, reading from the same page. So, Professor Magoha, fond of excellency, but excellency to me is tripartite between those. So, Professor Magoha is right in there also. He has a big role to play.
And we say it, no, we must be Makerere. We started from that trajectory. And Makerere used to be a whole number, 14, 15 there.
When he was Vice Chancellor, he's recollecting.
Before I retire as Vice Chancellor, the University of Nairobi must be among the first 10. They are among the 1,500 universities in Africa. And it required the work of every academic staff member and every non-academic staff member working in tandem. And the secret to that success was
every academic staff member working in tandem.
Including the ones who tell you you can go to hell. Even that one is important. You don't discount them because you know as well that I had a principle in my management at the top who always told me to go to hell. It did not stop us from going everywhere.
Professor Magoha says, you cannot ignore academic staff, and hope to be excellent. That is in his speech. I went on to listen to Professor Magoha. Actually, it's like he was implying that old is gold. Professor Magoha offered an advice to the Chancellor of University of Nairobi on age for retirement, as he recognized an 87-year-old professor who recently taught him at Harvard. He recognized that this professor was 87, but was performing. Let's listen to him. Actually, old is gold is the message that professor was giving the congregation. Let's listen to him.
We used to start at 6 o'clock and come back at 8:30. So we had breakfast there, lunch and dinner there. And you come back with home of which you have in the morning. The reason I'm using this example, if you like, you can take it. If you don't like, you'll be shooting yourself in the foot. For somebody who was 87 years.
87.
So the top grade American is going there.
Teaching them.
And I remember the guy used to give us homework at 8:30 when we were going. We bring the homework in the morning. We are 40. He will write 2-3 pages on each of them. And he will give you the answers. In this university, there are professors like that. If you look around, you will
Recognizing that there are good professors in universities.
some of them people say, no, this one now has reached 72. It's not helpful. If you care to check, Madam Chancellor,
Talking to Madam Chancellor,
that professor is doing 3 or 4
that
times
even 72 years,
the work of the
they are good enough.
So for the university to be made a gold standard, look for all in all these professors. Otherwise you will fly. And since you don't have any else to be listening, you have no time to produce others.
Listen to him.
I mean, not here. But you don't have to take my advice and take that. Why do I qualify to advise you?
Old is gold is what Professor Magoha is saying. That there are professors who are even 72 years and they're still going. And yet, the university rules want to send them home and say they are not cast in stone. Now, those who are the chiswa, as I would say, those who are the sweet what, but within the same, even as the good professor was preaching against arrogance, he also arrogantly chased away a technician who had brought him a mobile microphone. Watch it.
So I think a professor should be judged by the output of his work, not just research work. We don't have trainers. That's what I have in the country now.
He
We don't
recognized
have trainers.
they are not trainers.
Don't allow the trainers to go away.
Don't let them go.
Who is going to train the new staff that they are looking
When the young ones come, lecturers come, who's going to train them? That's what he's saying.
And they won't stand up. We
You have
already
sent away the
have-
professors.
So what we might do is to tell them to go. Answers are looking for. And we respect them. He's a good person. This is a challenge to the council. Council care.
Notice that the good professor is now talking to the management and not to the microphone. And therefore, a technician notices that the mic is not, people are not hearing. So he comes in, watch him. He's coming in to give him a mobile microphone so that he can use, now watch, let me keep quiet, watch. Kwenda huko mbali kabisa. That's what he's saying in front of the people, embarrassing that technician. Well, that's my interpretation. And Professor goes on to say age is but a number. He continues to propose that good professors should not be let go. Surely, if they were to let go, that man we're looking, the Ali Mazuri professor, rest in peace. With all those brains of his, Was he at 70 not professing? Some people are old at 18 and some are young at 90. Age is just a number and the time is a concept that humans created. That's the message Professor Magoha is giving the Chancellor of the University of Nairobi to rethink sending away professors just because they are 72. Let's listen to it.
Having said so, as I address the other universities now, the University of Nairobi is the gold standard, but for the other universities to look like the University of Nairobi, they must have certain criteria that are fixed, that are transformative, because you now have professors in certain universities, Professor Kiama. When you challenge them in their area of interest, they have nothing to say. So we are running the risk of professors, people saying they are professors of something, and now you can actually get it. There are professors who may have printed 100 papers, and none of them have been quoted by anybody. So those are not professors.
Those are students, virtual, beautiful, technology. They are graduating from their own homes.
Allow them to go. The productive ones, age is just but a number. Because they are running.
Yes, Professor Magoha recognizes that surely it's not all professors who are good. He says there are some who have never published. Of course, Professor Magoha, therefore here, believes that publishing is what makes a professor. He says, it is not that every professor is good or every professor is bad. So it is like he's saying a blanket rule that everybody at 70 must go should be recognized, reviewed, so that yes, if you are still able to go on, if you are still productive, go on. But if you aren't productive, then probably. The good professor also left in me a trace of sarcasm. Professor Magoha, a whole cabinet secretary of the country's education, has his own way of calling universities. To him, some universities are the so-called universities. And when I checked up the meaning of so-called, someone defined the word so-called as something that is alleging to be something you are not sure it is. Now listen to how Professor Magoha called Egerton University. Listen to him very carefully.
But I'm very proud to be associated with this university. And,
He's proud to be associated with the University of Nairobi. Let's go on to Egerton.
I understand. Because the college is graduating now and science-based, and we shut you down. So Professor Johari Window was ahead of you, Kidogo, and the so-called Egerton University.
The so-called Egerton University.
They are there.
Professor Kioni, I think it's of Kimati, is good, and the so-called Egerton University. Well, the hidden or the unknown spot in Johari Window, maybe he made something else, but people listening will interpret it something else, the so-called. Professor Magoha challenges universities to bestow professorial titles to only those who deserve them. Not people who can read the book upside down. Look, not professors who say 2 molecules of hydrogen and they write. So Professor Magoha, he is actually being objective here, saying that not every professor deserves to be a professor. But Not every professor is bad. So blanket statements of retirement age could be reviewed, so he says.
Having said so, as I address the other universities now, the University of Nairobi is the gold standard, but for the other universities to look like the University of Nairobi, they must have certain criteria that are fixed, that are transformative, because you now have professors in certain universities, Professor Kiama, when you challenge them in their area of interest, they have nothing to say. So we are having the risk of professors, people saying they are professors of something, and now you can actually get it. Here on council, there are professors who may have printed 100 papers, and none of them have been quoted by anybody. So those are not professors. But we have professors, we have them. Review them. The ones who are already old and still cannot use their brain, allow them to go. The productive ones, age is just but a number. Because we have a brain.
Indeed, he's saying not every one of us professors is a true professor. But again, not. So, as I listened to Professor Fada, was it preaching water and drinking wine? Or was it do as I say, not as I do? You see, Professor Magoha asks everybody to observe silence for the departed ones. But Professor Magoha forgets to be silent himself. Or was it? Maybe it was me who didn't quite get it. Now watch. They say, don't do as I do, do as I say. That's what I'm saying. And one says, do as I say, not as I do. But hold on, you are not doing anything. Now let's see. Listen to him.
I want us to give a moment's silence to the 5 staff that I remember, including the son of our own Juma. Can we be upstanding?
Asks people to stand and observe silence.
That they have not due to COVID.
Silence being observed. He's still talking. He's talking.
Grant their souls.
And when
Thank you very much.
he finishes talking, he says, thank you very much, and they sit. But again, it was not just chasing away a technician offering a mobile microphone. The good professor went ahead to publicly ridicule a member of the congregation for not having put on the face mask well. It made me remember this statement, the golden rule: praise in public and always reprimand in private. That was Sergeant Major Mark Schindler, German. He says as rule number 1, chastise in private, but praise in public. We are told that positive leadership, remember, praise in public, but reprimand in private. Let's hear him.
You ask, why am I talking with my mask? Maybe you as a vet, you know. But in removing the mask, I'm trying to talk to your mask. Because if we agree that this virus is in the air, and I've seen some very careless ones like that. They're extremely careless. She's going to make...
And Kenyans are laughing. We are laughing for someone being pointed finger at the public. You are careless, you.
The air around me may not be as good as I want it to be, and you know what will happen.
Now, the good again comes in. Professor Magoha urges universities to sustain the change to the digital way of doing things now that Corona has brought us it. It's like saying, if you don't change with time, change will change you. Or if you don't change with change, change will change you. Indeed, it was Hercules who says the only constant thing is change. If you do not change direction, you may end up where you are heading. So you see, Professor Magoha advises us well that now that we have become digital, let's sustain it. Listen to him.
I think the second point I want to say is that we are going now into the new normal. The new normal is that using this mode of activity is here to stay. So I would want the council to invest a little bit more on the ICT facilities. You have a very huge ICT center, which is all staffed. You can invest more there. But one other point.
I want to agree with Professor Magoha here that we have to go digital. We have to go online. But of course, not going like 100% online. We have to choose systematically, go that direction. Because change has come. Technology has come. We cannot continue holding on tradition, yet times are changing. And finally, it appeared to me that Professor Magoha was hoping against hope. Professor Magoha shows that he does not know exactly whether or not university students are well prepared for self-employment. He only hopes the university has prepared them well for self-employment. Let's listen to him.
Hello to the graduates and the parents. I want to wish you all the very best. I hope you have been unskilled.
I hope
He's able to
he has been unskilled
go out there. Don't go out there to look for jobs.
to go out there and be self-employed,
To create
to create
jobs.
jobs.
Our brains can work beyond what we give them. So if your target is to look for a job, we have already shut down your brain. If you are, we went to your kind shared with His Excellency the President the other day, and the man who was in the Johari sector was a master's graduate. I think you saw him on television, and he was able to think outside. In fact, he destroyed the box. So that's what I'm asking the students to do. I wish you all the very best, and we continue to work together. And I'm going to ask for permission, but I'm just yeah. If you allow me, I want to work together. If I don't go, thank you.
So, here is a CS Education who says he hopes that the university has unskilled them to go out there and create jobs. Monitoring and evaluation has therefore not been going on. The ministry doesn't know that the university is not unskilling them for self-employment. What is the reality? The reality on the ground. Look at those placard-carrying graduates. They have not been employed. They are on the streets carrying placards. Employ me, employ me. Look at them. Kindly give me a job. My qualification is such and such a degree. Look at them. I have a PSc electrical engineering and a diploma project management. Please help. I need a job. My CV is with me and the number is there. Look at them. Please give me a job. Patrick Mutomi, qualification BCom, accounting, CPA, section 4. These are graduates who are looking for jobs. This is what the good secretary, cabinet secretary should be. This is in the domain, public domain. while our graduates are looking for jobs. Indeed, our graduates walk right into unemployment from the graduation square. So, if we keep doing what we are doing, we are going to keep getting what we are getting. Those are not my words. Look at them. Look. Graduates, the old professor with all wisdom is giving degrees and say, congratulations, grads. And when they walk, where they walking? Right into unemployment. Look. Graduation line starts here. They are going to graduate. Graduation line, they can graduate. Then an employment line starts from here. It starts right from the graduation square, as this demonstrates. So it is sad that a minister of education doesn't know that this is what's going on. And he only hopes that the universities end skilling graduates. As we keep doing what we have been doing, if we keep doing what we are doing, we are going to keep getting what we are getting. I think it was Einstein who said insanity is doing something repeatedly and hoping to get different results. So, in my opinion, what has to change? I want to probably make this challenge. We can discuss them if we want. First, in my opinion, we have to review curriculums to make them relevant to the job market. As it is now, we are giving more of knowledge, cognitive knowledge theories, but we can improve them. Number two, we have to review higher education philosophy and move it towards more of active and less of passive delivery and assessment approaches. We need to move away from forcing our students to recall what the books say. And we're using some books that were written centuries ago. Three, we have to retool academic staff for active teaching approaches. Yes, knowledge decays after a period. Here is when the university management, the academic staff, and the ministry can come together and the development programs. Our unions can come together and we need to retool to catch up with times. Number four, we need to give our students both wage and self-employment skills. Arm them. Let them be a double-edged sword. It can cut from both sides. We need to introduce university business incubators. Let the business incubator be the laboratory for our students to test their business models. And when they go out, they move out into employment or employing others. Next, we need to motivate academic staff. We cannot have a hungry staff coming to teach on an empty stomach. Next, we must move away from university competitions to university collaborations. We had the good professor talking, we're competing with the Makerere. Makerere is a nuisance. We want to be number one. Yes, we are being number one, but your students are tamaki. Why don't we move away from these university competitions and start university collaborations? We need to strengthen the economy by fighting corruption. The finances that corruption is eating in this country are enough to motivate the teaching staff. We need to guide enrollments to fit the supply and the demand equation. There are many times we force students in any degree because they qualified, and we overproduce. And if the demand-supply equation is not balanced. And finally, we need to strengthen the positive university management, university staff, and academic staff for that matter, and education ministry relationship. That tripartite must work positively and not pointing fingers. It is unfortunate that, take Professor Magoha himself, he was in the university, he moves to the ministry, and he forgets that was once upon a time a lecturer who was demotivated, but because he rose to a vice chancellor, he rose to a ministry, his scale changes and his networking changes, and we forget. And it's not Professor Magoha alone. I can mention a number of former university lecturers, former university tutors, management, vice chancellors, who moved on to the ministry, who moved on to parliament, who moved on, and then they forgot where they came from. Now that positive linkage must change. We can't keep doing what we're doing and expect to get different results. We can't force our students to go into self-employment when we ourselves are in wage employment. We are unable ourselves to go into self-employment, but we want our students to go into self-employment. Contradiction? Thank you.